Hi everyone, another day, another lunchtime pint in the sunshine, so I mustn't grumble with that. There's the, where is it? There it is. There's the lunchtime pint. Sorry, I'm filming on my phone, as you can probably guess. Yeah, as the title suggests, this video is about not pub machines in general, but a specific type of pub machine, and that's the iPubs. I think there's been 3 or 4 incarnations of them now. And you probably, if you've been in a pub in the UK in the last couple of years, you'd almost certainly recognise them. Basically, they emulate a lot of the FOB-T machines, the FOB-T slots, and the online games. Basically, replicate those, but in a sort of lower jackpot incarnation, basically £100 jackpots, and also quite critically a lower RTP as well, lower return to player. So basically, the payout percentage is significantly lower than it is in the bookies or online. So that alone is a reason not to play them. But the main reason now, and what I'll show you from the screenshots, is a particular game, probably the most common and popular game on these iPubs, which is a game called Shenanigans. It's a fairly typical Irish-themed 5-reel slot game, really. Theoretical payout percentage of 88%. The critical thing about this, though, as the screenshots I'm showing you will be, is on the boot screen, this game will tell you that it is random, as indeed a lot of these 5-reel slot games are. If you go into the help screen, however, it will tell you that the game is compensated. Now, for those of you who don't know what a compensated game is, going back not too long, a few years, all machines in pubs were compensated. Typically they would be the sort of 3-reel feature type where you get on the board and you spin around a board. All that's filling pots or taking shots, or that sort of thing. And they were all compensated, normally on somewhere between 70 and 84%. And basically what compensated means is that every machine has a target percentage. So say this target percentage is the legal minimum, which is 70%. If the machine has, in that current cycle, paid out less than 70% of the money it has taken, it is behind percentage, then typically it will, over the remaining cycle, basically have to catch up with that percentage, which means quite often the machine will play more generously and will give out bigger wins. This is why the old rumour so much, or the old sort of adage of basically waiting until someone's lost a lot of money on the machine and then going to play it. That's how that works, basically. If someone has genuinely lost a lot of money on a compensated machine, then the chances are a portion of that money will come back later on in the cycle. So this is why, for sort of traditional pub machines, you're actually able to chase them or force them out, basically refusing all your wins until you got a jackpot. This was rarely profitable unless you, like myself and some of my my former associates, sort of were able to identify ways in which you could get it to pay out that jackpot a little bit earlier or a little bit before it really wanted to or really intended to. So that's how a compensated game works. And basically, if you were a lot of money into a compensated game and you hadn't collected any wins, then what you'd do is you would persevere. You put a bit more money in and you try and get some of your money back. Now, obviously, a random game is entirely different. You know, you could put, it doesn't matter how much you put in a random game. Theoretically, you could have a jackpot on one spin and then a jackpot on the very next spin. It's based on a random number generator which generates the result of each spin. Contrary to public belief, and I'm sure I'll talk about this in another video, the actual reels aren't random. The reels are purely a representation of the outcome of the game as determined by the random number generator, and actually don't really relate to anything other than just as a pretty visual to show you the result of your draw. Basically, it's like drawing a random lottery ticket, and sort of just the reels and the graphics purely represent what has been drawn out the hat, so to speak. So that's the difference between a random and compensated game. Now, why does this matter? Well, there's 2 reasons this matters on this particular game. Firstly, if I was playing this game, and God willing I never will, then I would, having lost £200 in it, you know, if it were a compensated game, I would persevere and I would try and get an element of my money back. I would try and get some of my money back. You know, you do get to a point where obviously, of course, you have to accept a loss. But if you know it's compensated, and you know that your money is going towards, you know, reaching a target percentage, then maybe you'd put a little bit more money in and try and win something back. If it's random and you lose £200 in it, then you are absolutely no better off putting any more money in than you were at the very start. So the next £20 you put in has got just as much chance of winning or losing as the very first £20 you put in £200 ago. Sorry, I can't get my words out today. So if you lost a lot on a random game and you knew it was a random game, then common sense dictates that actually there's no point in persevering. Of course, there is a psychological part of us that wants to get some money back. Of course, you put £200 in, even a random game, you talk to the machine, you bargain with the machine, and you say, I'll tell you what, just give me 80 quid back and I'll walk. Just give me 80 quid back, I'll take the 120 loss and I'll walk. And I'm sure, as gamblers, we've all sort of talked either out loud or in our heads to machines and said, look, come on, just give us X amount back and I'll leave it. Some logic in this in a compensated game, because actually you might, if you're having put maybe say £100 in a £100 jackpot machine, it might then be ready to give you 50 quid, so you might get half your money back. On a random game, you can't. You can't negotiate with it. You're not negotiating with a person. You're not really negotiating with anything that's logical, sensible, fair, balanced. And you're not negotiating with something that's compensated. You're negotiating with something that's completely random. And yes, I understand that the principle behind a sack point. You want to get to a point where you can leave the game. You want to get to a point where you're happy with what the results you've got. You're happy with walking away with something, and it gives you a point at which to draw a line under your loss and move on. Obviously, this is again in principle okay. In practice, it doesn't work like that, because you get your 50, 60, 70 quid back, whatever you beg the machine to give you back, and then you think, well, I'll push my luck a little bit more, and invariably the net result is always the bloody same, isn't it? We know that because we're gamblers. Anyway, all I can say is this is one reason not to play these games. The second reason, of course, is if this information is inaccurate and if they're not telling the truth on the cabinet as to how the machine plays and how the machine pays out, then what else aren't they telling the truth about? Are they not telling the truth about the RTPs? Are they not telling the truth, about how much you're actually going to get back from the machine? Of course, my advice, as it is as a recovering gambler, is just don't play these machines, or indeed any form of machines. But I appreciate that some of the people watching my videos may not be wanting to give up. They may not be ready to give up, and they may want to go out and gamble. And if you do, then play something that's fair. Play something where you know the odds against you. And if you're going to play this sort of game, play it online or play it in the bookies. Don't play it in these pub machines. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Cheers, guys.